Takže dnes by sme v štúdiu Výkrik z regiónov radi privítali veľmi vzácneho hostia, pána Jeffreyho Lightfoota, ktorý k nám prišiel až z ďalekého Washingtonu, konkrétne z organizácie SAIPE. So, hi Jeff, welcome here.
Dobrý deň.
Dobrý deň. It's a pleasure for us that you have received our invitation. So, could you please tell our spectators, for example, what the acronym SAIPE stands for, what your organization does, and maybe why are you here in Lučanec?
Yes, of course. And Marcela, thank you for having us, me and Lučanec. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time. So I'm the director of the new Europe office that the Center for International Private Enterprise has set up based in Bratislava, and we are going to be working all across Central and Southeast Europe. And the Center for International Private Enterprise, also called SAIPE, is focused on working at the intersection of markets and democracy. So we like to work with business leaders, associations, chambers of commerce, civil society groups, and economic think tanks that are engaged in democratic reform. So we believe very strongly in the democratic reform movement in Central Europe. We operate around the world, but this office will work all across the region at that intersection of business and democracy.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And what are you doing here in Lučanec?
Well, we're pleased to be in a partnership with the Future Region Academy. We were really compelled by the Academy's mission and mandate to try to bring talent back to Lučanec to foster a new generation of leaders in business, local government, and civil society that are here that can focus on regional development, that can focus on making the Lučanec region a better place to live for young people. We think that kind of mission and mandate will result in greater democracy in the region, will help people see that democracy can deliver results, and will rebuild trust in society. So we were delighted to support the Future Region Academy project and look forward to seeing what kind of results it achieves, not just in the short term, but in the long term.
And could you please tell our spectators what you like in Lučanec and what you have seen so far?
Yeah, well, so first of all, we got to see the Lučanec City Park. We had lunch there today, and then we went to see Agro, the large
CS company,
Agro CS company, which is obviously producing a lot of jobs and having a big impact on the economy in this region. And then we saw the Lučanec Synagogue, and we've seen the Development Academy here, and then we'll see the mayor this afternoon. What is interesting to me, and Halič Castle, of course, which was
Halič
gorgeous
Castle.
and is a reason for me to return sometime in the future. What's really interesting to me is you described the diversity in this city. You see it, the religious diversity, you see the ethnic and cultural diversity. What's interesting is how do these groups work together to produce a society that works for everyone. So that to me is something really interesting that I've taken away from Lučanec in my time here.
Okay, great.
Milí naši diváci, chcel by som vás poprosiť o spätnú väzbu na našu tvorbu. Zanechajte nám like, ak sa vám video páčilo, dajte kľudne dislike, ak sa vám nepáčilo a budeme radi, keď nám dáte odber, pretože je to pre nás taká motivácia pokračovať ďalej. Už vás nebudem zdržovať. Príjemné pozeranie.
Why do you think that business should invest in the democratic region here in Slovakia?
Yeah, well, so when we look at any society, there's various pillars of society that work together to make it function, right? There's national government, local government, civil society groups, legal groups, things like that. But people often forget that the business community, particularly entrepreneurs, are a key pillar of society. And they have a lot to gain from a society that works well, that is underpinned by rule of law, good governance, transparency, fairness before the law, a functioning legal system, a healthy information space, like independent media. So we believe that the business community has a key role to play in supporting democratic development, not just in Bratislava, not just in Košice, but at the local level or at the regional level. And we are here and opening this office with a mission and mandate to work to help local business and local community groups work together to solve problems, to deliver results, to show that business and government can deliver results, that democracy can function effectively and produce economic development at that local level. That's fundamentally what we hope to achieve with local groups like yours and others across Slovakia and the region.
And maybe could you tell us why you do not concentrate, for example, on Bratislava and on Prague, but you mostly concentrate on the regions that are not so well developed?
Well, that's certainly a focus of ours. We do work with groups like INECO in Bratislava, the European Value Center in Prague. So we have relationships with larger institutions in those big cities. Our theory and hypothesis is that a lot of the investment, the wealth, a lot of the more socially liberal or economically liberal voters end up being in those larger cities. We're less concerned about democratic development in those cities. We're more interested, but what we hear from voices at the local level is a feeling that the business and government dialogue is one between elites, public elites, government elites in capital cities, and business elites, and that they feel excluded from this dialogue, and that there's a lack of transparency at the local level that's producing lack of economic development that results in a feeling that the system isn't working for them. So our strategy is to try to work at this local level because we sense that our limited technical support that SIPE can offer, financial support, can have a larger impact in these regions than it can in the capital cities of the region.
From your own experience, what would you suggest, for example, local leaders, mayors, and so on, so important people in the region to do, for the region to be more developed and to flourish?
Sure. Well, the first thing is that we wouldn't know what this region, we wouldn't at SIPE pretend to know what each region needs for its own local development perspectives. Those ideas come from the local level, which is why we liked your project so much. What we do think is important is that there's a functioning and sustained dialogue between the local government and the local business community. The business community will create the jobs. When we saw that at Agro Slovakia, that they're creating 100 jobs and have an ambitious investment plan in the future, they need an active dialogue with the local government, the regional government, and the national government to get the support that they need to produce those kinds of jobs. That dialogue needs to be regular, sustained, and it needs to be transparent so that citizens know that it's an honest and ethical dialogue that creates a level playing field. So that's what we think will result in the best economic future and also democratic future for the region. And it's one of the reasons we're excited to support this project and other ones throughout Slovakia and Czechia this year.
Okay, thank you very much. And we hope to see all our spectators at our Future Region Academy. And we plan to educate young regional leaders who can be the bearers of the change here in the region. So hopefully see you soon. And again, thank you for coming and hopefully see you soon again.
Ďakujem, thank you.
Ďakujem.